I'm going to start this video with something you may have never heard before, but I can assure you that if you manage to listen until the very end, your life will never be the same again. Did you know that the objects in your home might be the reason why you haven't yet achieved the financial freedom you long for? It sounds absurd, doesn't it? How could a simple object have such a powerful influence on your finances? It seems impossible, but I'm going to prove to you that it's true. The environment around you has a massive impact on your success, and you might be holding onto things in your home that are literally blocking your wealth. I want you to pay close attention, because the changes you're about to make could be the very key to your next big step. I want you to stop for a moment and reflect. When you look around your home, what do you see? What items are present there? Do they reflect the person you wish to become, or are they keeping you chained to a version of yourself that no longer serves you? Your home is a direct reflection of your self-image. If you're surrounded by things that don't represent who you are, you're telling your subconscious mind that you are undeserving of more. And that is what I want you to change, because your self-image holds the key to unlocking every financial or success-driven goal you have. Now, just for a moment, imagine the home of a wealthy individual. What do they have? The furniture is tidy, the objects are of good quality, the atmosphere is harmonious and filled with a sense of confidence in a prosperous future. Every single item has a purpose and exists to add value, not to create clutter or confusion. In contrast, when you look around your own home and see broken things, objects that have already served their purpose but are still there out of laziness or habit, you're sending a message to your brain that you don't deserve the new, the better, the abundant. I know many of you are afraid of letting go of those old things, those memories the objects carry. I've been there too. When I looked around my own home, I saw things that reminded me of a past full of struggle. I had worn-out furniture, items that were simply taking up space. And it was when I decided to clear them out, to remove those things, that I began to notice a real transformation in my life. Have you ever thought about this? How many of you have something at home that brings no joy, that doesn't make you happy? How many of you hold on to something that represents a past of scarcity? And even more importantly, how many of you are keeping those items simply out of fear that you don't deserve something better? What you keep in your home today is a reflection of how you see yourself and the life you believe you deserve. So stop now and begin to ask yourself, these items, are they reflecting who I want to become, or are they tying me to my past? I know that many of you are thinking, but what about the memories? What about the moments these objects represent? And I get it, I truly do. I've been through the same. I remember a piece of furniture I had. It was a gift from a dear friend, but it was worn down, broken, and had lost all functional value. At first, it was hard to let it go, because it brought back memories of a time when I had just begun my journey of self-awareness. But at the same time, it reminded me of a version of myself I had already left behind. That piece of furniture kept me emotionally tied to the old me, to a mindset that no longer served me. And when I finally removed it, I felt an immense sense of relief. That was the very moment when transformation began to take root in my life. This is a simple example, but a powerful one. Because the truth is, if you don't change the environment around you, if you don't align your physical space with the person you are striving to become, you will never reach your full potential. You might achieve some success, but it will be limited because you're still clinging to negative energies and memories of lack. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to get rid of everything in your home. No. What you need to do is examine each object and ask yourself, does this represent my future or my past? Does this reflect the abundance I want to attract into my life? As you begin to let go of those items that no longer serve you, that no longer add value, you'll notice something profound starting to happen within you. You'll begin to see your potential more clearly. You'll feel freer, lighter, and more prepared to finally achieve what you've always dreamed of. When you shift your perception, opportunities begin to appear, because you're creating space for abundance to flow into your life. And if you're still feeling skeptical, I'd like you to think about this. Have you ever noticed how much better you feel after tidying your home or organizing a space? How something as simple as putting things in order can give you a sense of clarity and control. That's the power of self-image in action. When you change the environment around you, you're also changing the way you perceive yourself. And that, my friend, is a powerful key to transforming both your financial and personal life. So, what are you waiting for? Start now. Remove everything that doesn't reflect the abundance you want in your life. Get rid of objects that remind you of lack or tie you to the past. Replace them with things that inspire you, that push you forward. When you do this, you're making space for success to enter. And remember, what surrounds you isn't just decoration, it's energy. Make that energy reflect the success you want to attract. Now it's over to you. Don't wait any longer. Begin today to transform your home. You'll see how this simple act can trigger a powerful shift in your life. Now, I want you to pay very close attention, because what I'm about to tell you could completely change the way you view the world around you. You've probably heard of the law of attraction, haven't you? I'm certain you have, and perhaps you've even tried applying it in your life. But I'm going to show you something very few people truly understand about this law, and that is what can make all the difference on your path to prosperity. The law of attraction isn't just about your thoughts or desires. It's directly connected to your surroundings, your home, your workspace, the physical space in which you live and move. Everything around you carries energy, and the energy you're attracting depends on what is present in your physical environment. Think about it for a moment. If you want to attract more money, more success, more happiness, do you truly believe it will happen in a cluttered, chaotic, or uninspiring space filled with items that hold no value? How can the law of attraction work if your space doesn't align with what you desire? I know this may sound simple, but it's incredibly profound. When you begin clearing out unnecessary items, things that no longer reflect the person you want to become, you're quite literally creating space for abundance to enter. I've been through this myself. I remember a time when my life felt completely stagnant. I was living in an environment that didn't reflect my true potential. My home was cluttered, full of things I kept for emotional reasons, but that no longer served me. And it was only when I decided to change my surroundings that my life began to shift. That change started when I began applying the law of attraction not just in my mind, but also in my physical space. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you felt that things just weren't flowing the way you wanted, but you couldn't quite figure out why? I'll tell you, the reason might be the space you live in. If you're surrounded by items that represent lack or frustration, how can you expect to attract prosperity? If your home is filled with broken, outdated, or emotionally heavy objects that remind you of hard times, they are radiating negative energy, the exact opposite of what you want to draw in. This is what many people don't understand about the law of attraction. The solution isn't just positive thinking. It's not simply believing that money will fall from the sky. The real solution lies in shifting your environment to reflect what you truly want. When you begin to organize your home and eliminate all that no longer serves you, you open up a space for prosperity to manifest. This isn't magic, it's science. The environment around you directly influences what you think, how you feel, and therefore, what you attract. Now, think about the people in your life. I'm not just talking about objects, I mean the people you allow into your space. Are they aligned with the mindset of abundance you're striving for, or are they pulling you back into patterns of scarcity and limitation? I know many people who began attracting wealth and success simply by changing who they spend time with. If you're surrounded by negative people who constantly talk about the lack of money, about problems and struggles, that energy will eventually begin to affect you. But when you choose to surround yourself with people who think big, who are positive and moving towards success, your energy shifts, and the law of attraction begins to work in your favor. I understand that it might not be easy to distance yourself from certain individuals, especially if they are close to you, but I'm asking you to start reflecting on this. Your life is shaped by the energy you allow into it. If you want to achieve abundance, you need to be in an environment that reflects it. And if the people around you aren't contributing to that, then perhaps it's time to rethink those relationships. I know this might be a delicate subject. Maybe you have a friend who always complains, or a family member who constantly says things will never get better. But if you truly want to transform your life, you must remove yourself from these negative energies. As you begin to organize your home and clear out objects that no longer serve you, you'll start to feel that you're creating space for new energies to enter. What I can tell you with absolute certainty is that as you transform your surroundings, opportunities begin to arise. It'll feel as though the universe is finally starting to work with you. Let me share the story of a friend of mine who, around 4 years ago, was struggling to reach prosperity. He lived in a chaotic environment, surrounded by unnecessary belongings and negative relationships. Despite his efforts, he felt like nothing was moving forward. It was only when he decided to change his environment, to distance himself from the negativity and intentionally connect with people who thought like him, that things began to shift. He started to organize his life, to let go of everything that no longer served a purpose, and within roughly 4 months, he experienced a remarkable transformation. New opportunities began to flow, new people came into his life, and at last, he attracted the abundance he had long desired. Now, I challenge you to look around your home, observe the people in your life, and ask yourself, does this reflect what I want to attract? If the answer is no, start making changes. Begin with small steps, but make the shift today. Remove items that don't represent the future you envision. Clear away negative energy and begin to create a space that mirrors the abundance you wish to draw into your life. Remember, when you change your surroundings, you change your energy, and when you change your energy, the law of attraction begins to work in your favor. Now, I'd like to speak about something many people don't notice, but which is absolutely essential for attracting abundance into your life: the energy of your environment. Everything is energy, from the people around you to the objects in your home. Money, opportunities, happiness, these are all forms of energy that flow toward us. But in order for the energy of abundance to truly enter your life, you need to prepare the right space for it. Let me ask you a question. When you walk into your home, do you feel light, positive, inspired energy? Or do you feel heaviness, scarcity, like something is out of place? I know that often we don't realize it, but the space we live in has a huge impact on our financial, emotional, and even physical well-being. If you're surrounded by clutter, by items that no longer hold value for you, or that remind you of a difficult past, how can you expect the energy of prosperity to come in? It simply won't. I've seen it time and time again. When you don't clean up your space, when you don't make the effort to create an environment that welcomes abundance, you are shutting the doors to everything you desire. Now think of the homes of the people you consider successful. What do they have in common? I'm not talking about money or luxury, but about the way they have structured their space. There is harmony, breathing room, clarity. No mess, no broken items, no pointless objects taking up space without adding any value. And this is exactly what you need to do: create a space that reflects the person you want to become. Have you ever noticed how, after tidying up your house or cleaning a messy room, you feel better, more energized, more willing to take action? That's not a coincidence, it's a direct result of changing the energy around you. I've lived through this myself, and I'd like to share what happened to me. A few years ago, I was in a phase of my life where nothing seemed to go right. I was trying to attract prosperity, but everything felt stuck. Then I started to understand that the key wasn't just in changing my mindset, but also in changing the environment I was living in. When I began clearing out my home, getting rid of items that no longer had any value, and reorganizing my space, something inside me began to shift. I felt lighter, as though a new energy had entered. Opportunities started to appear, my focus improved, and slowly, my financial situation began to change. That's the power of the energy within your surroundings. Have you ever noticed how the energy of your living space can directly affect your emotions? If your space is messy or dirty, you'll likely feel tired, unmotivated, and lacking the energy to act. But when you start putting things in order, when you create a space that reflects abundance and success, your energy transforms. You begin to feel more alive, more willing, more ready to achieve. This is what the energy of abundance does. By doing this, you're not only creating a better physical environment, you're opening a channel for opportunities and money to flow into your life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you need to live in a luxury mansion or have everything perfectly arranged. Not at all. What I'm saying is, you need to start letting go of what no longer serves you, and begin to build a space that feels positive, that radiates prosperity. Start with something simple, like organizing your work desk or tidying your kitchen. These small changes to your surroundings can have a profound impact on your energy and emotional state. And when you begin to care for your environment, the universe begins to care for you in return. Because, at its core, what you're doing is sending a message to the universe that says, I am worthy of prosperity. I deserve abundance. I know many people find it hard to let go of things that hold sentimental value, but let me tell you something, if you truly want to live a life of abundance, you must learn to release. If something no longer adds value to your life, if it simply takes up space and reminds you of a difficult past, then you need to part with it. Because as long as you hold onto those things, you're holding onto the energy of lack. And you cannot attract abundance while carrying that emotional weight. Think of it as creating a positive energetic field around you. When you build an environment that breeds prosperity, you align yourself with the energy of abundance. And by doing that, you become someone who naturally draws in opportunities, success, and financial well-being. This isn't just theory, it's something that truly works when you put it into practice. I've seen it happen countless times, and I know it can happen for you too. So begin now, transform your space, because in doing so, you begin to transform your life. Now I want to speak about something fundamental that most people don't understand, the connection between money and emotions. It may sound strange, but your emotions have a direct impact on the way you handle money, whether you attract wealth or push it away. I know many people think money is just a practical issue, something you earn through hard work and effort. And yes, that's certainly part of it. But have you ever stopped to consider that behind your financial situation lie your feelings? Let's think about it together. How do you feel when you think about money? Do you feel anxious? Afraid? Frustrated? Or do you feel confident, grateful, even excited? I can assure you, no matter how hard you work, if you carry negative emotions towards money, they will directly limit your ability to attract greater wealth. The reason is simple, money is energy, and the energy you emit is what you will receive in return. If you emit the energy of fear, scarcity, or doubt, you will attract more of the same. But if you change the way you feel about money, you will begin to attract an entirely different energy. Now, let me tell you a real story, something that genuinely happened to me. When I began my journey to understand the law of attraction and the link between my emotions and my financial situation, I discovered something incredible. I was struggling financially. Despite all my efforts, money just wasn't flowing to me the way I wanted it to. That's when I turned inward and realized that the emotions I carried around money were, in fact, deeply negative. I was afraid of losing the little I had. I felt ashamed to ask for help and, more often than not, I believed I would never be able to achieve financial success. That was the moment I decided to change my relationship with money. I started to shift the way I looked at money and, more importantly, how I felt about it. I began to treat money with respect and gratitude. I started to visualize abundance, to feel that I was worthy of wealth, and to act in alignment with that new mindset. I stopped focusing on the fear of losing and started focusing on the joy of creating more. I noticed that, as I made this shift, the flow of money in my life began to change. Opportunities started to appear, the right people began to enter my life, and money somehow began to come more easily. Now, I ask you, how do you feel about money? When you pay a bill, do you feel anger or frustration? Or do you feel grateful that you have the resources to pay it? When you look at your bank account, do you feel fear that the money will run out, or do you feel confident that more is always on the way? These emotions, whether or not you're aware of them, are shaping your financial reality. And if you want to change that reality, you need to begin by changing how you feel about money. I know that, for many people, this is a major obstacle. They hold deep-rooted beliefs that money is scarce or that they are undeserving of being wealthy. I want you to pause and reflect, what if you weren't afraid to make financial mistakes? What if, instead of feeling guilty for wanting to be rich, you felt worthy of that richness? Believe me, the change you're seeking starts within, with how you manage your emotions around money. Of course, this doesn't mean you should be reckless or spend money carelessly. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is that, rather than carrying negative emotions towards money, you should start treating money as a friend, something that helps you live the life you want. Money is a tool, and the more you open yourself up to the possibility that it can flow freely to you, the more you'll begin to see it actually doing so. I challenge you to change the way you feel about money. Start practicing gratitude for the money you already have. Begin to visualize abundance arriving in your life. Feel that you are deserving of the very best. When you do this, when you shift your emotions around money, you'll find that opportunities begin to emerge from the most unexpected places. Money will start to flow more easily, because you'll no longer be blocking its path with fear or guilt. And the most amazing part is that this isn't just about money. When you change your emotions and beliefs around money, you begin to transform the way you feel about other areas of your life too. You begin to attract more love, more happiness, more success. And it all begins with a simple emotional shift. So I encourage you to observe your emotions around money over the coming days. When you feel fear or anxiety, pause and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Then replace that negative emotion with gratitude and trust. Doing this won't only transform your relationship with money, it will transform your entire life. I know it works, because I've lived it. And more importantly, you can do it too. And don't forget the people around you. They play a vital role in your journey towards success because their energy directly affects your own. The mindset they carry, whether of scarcity or abundance, fear or confidence, optimism or pessimism, will ultimately influence how you feel and the choices you make. If you want to achieve something greater in life, if you want to thrive, then it is essential that you surround yourself with people who share the same vision. Remember, the people you surround yourself with might be the very key to unlocking the door to your future. Now, you already know what you need to do. Look around you, assess who is by your side, and if necessary, start making conscious decisions about who you spend most of your time with. Once you begin doing this, the transformation will start from within and gradually reflect in every part of your life. This journey doesn't end here. Keep climbing the path of growth and wisdom. The next video that's about to appear on your screen will take you even further. In that video, you'll take one more step towards becoming 1% better than who you are today. Don't miss it, because the best is yet to come. I'll be waiting for you in the next video.